Greetings, Zion. I'm Quinta Ellis, and I'm excited to be sharing with you on this topic of homelessness today. Just a little bit about me. I am originally from North Carolina and currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia, where I attend McAfee School of Theology, Mercer University. There, I'm pursuing a Master's of Divinity, and so I'm focusing on community development, community organizing, nonprofits, and all of that centered around social justice issues. I hope that my insight can certainly help the church and specifically help Zion respond to our brothers and sisters who deal with homelessness. Housing the beloved community, seeking to understand the righteous response to the homeless. And that's what I really want us to look at is where are we as the church? What should we be doing? And more importantly, how can we help our brothers and sisters who experience homelessness? Although the Department of Housing and Urban Development gives us very four broad categories for homelessness, we're going to define homelessness as a lack of permanent, stable shelter for this presentation. But under defining homelessness, we also have to realize that there's three types of homelessness. You have transitional homelessness, which is short term, usually crisis induced. You have episodic homelessness, you're going in and out of the shelter. And then you have chronic homelessness, and that's really persons who have been homeless for more than a year. And so, looking at those three types of homelessness, you have to respond to them differently. Reasons that someone may become homeless include the lack or limited affordable housing, unemployment or underemployment. You also have domestic violence, mental illness, sudden health issues, or long term health issues that you're no longer able to work, or drug addiction, some type of substance abuse issue. And so, as we seek to minister to those and with those that are homeless, we have to realize that every story is different. Every homeless person is not the same. Um, but more importantly, we have to realize that they are first and foremost children of God, made in God's image. And therefore, we have to show them love and have to show them dignity. And they are valued. And so we have to really sit with that and make sure that when we're thinking about this population, that we first see them as children of God. On any given night in America, there are 549,928 people who are experiencing homeless. One fifth of those are actually children. Um, and then looking more specifically at the black community, although we only make up 12.6% of the population, we account for nearly 40% of the homeless population. So we are certainly affected by this in our communities, our family, our friends, people that we work with, and we may not even realize that they are truly affected by um, homelessness and poverty in general. Um, we also have to realize that the face of homelessness is changing. So, more and more young people are becoming homeless, specifically between the ages of 18 and 24. Also, homelessness is really not just an urban issue anymore, it's becoming a suburban, rural issue as well. And people are just now waking up to the fact that people that live in rural communities also experience these things that have been predominantly focused in urban centers. And so we quickly realize that we're failing our young people, but we're also looking specific when we look at Zion that many of our churches are in rural suburban areas, and so it's likely that our members are experiencing homelessness, some form of homelessness. So we really have a responsibility to not only us, but just the world in general when it comes to homelessness. We can look at the Bible, and there's so many scriptures that speak to this, but I'm going to look at one, which is one of my favorite passages. It's John 10:10, and it says, "The thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly." So if we're to be the living, breathing hands and feet of Christ today, we should be ministering in a way that gives abundant life to those in our communities. And being without shelter is not abundant. That's not abundant. And so, right there, we have to see that we should be doing something to address this issue. And so, what should we be doing? Um, we can look at this on a local church level, but we can also look at this as a denomination. And so the local church is really unique because it can address short term, very quick things that can happen really in a week's time or a few months, but then also more long term things. It takes more planning and more resources. So first, we have to realize that when we're seeking to work with this community of people, we should recognize our limits and plan for sustainable ministry. Um, we should not be doing more than we can handle. And if we don't think that we can sustain that particular ministry for more than a year, we should really think about how involved we get. We should also look at creating relationships. These persons deserve dignity, number one. Once again, these are children of God. These are humans. And so, just as we are created in God's image, so were they. And their lack does not determine, their lack of shelter does really not determine their worth. Um, we cannot be afraid to ask the homeless, what do you need? One, secondly, listen, and then we can act and try to make sure that just some of the basic things that we may take for granted that they have. Another short-term thing could be working on a network pamphlet listing all available resources, and this really speaks to those that are in transitional homelessness. It's only going to last a few weeks to a few months. They may not know the resources available in their community. And then, last but not least, for short term, is partnering with shelters and other organizations that already work with the homeless population. And so we can just be another resource for them to make sure that they're able to supply these people with what they need. Long term, we look at refiguring unused or underused space in the church. Many of our churches do not operate fully 7 days a week, and so we can look at how could we open up our church doors to do something for the homeless community. We can look at creating day centers, shower trucks. There's a really awesome model in the Atlanta area called Dignity on Wheels, and not only do they provide showers, they also provide a place, time, and space for them to wash their clothes. And we could also look at establishing 501c3 organizations where we're able to apply for grants and then create these really awesome nonprofits that work specifically with the homeless. And then on denominational level, number one, we really need to have prophetic leadership that is speaking to us as the members and clergy of the church to say, we have to stand up. We have to not only read and study the gospel, but we have to actually act out the gospel. Um, and so that's really number one. But as we move into very specific things, we can become advocates in the policymaking process and show up on the doorstep of our legislators in making sure that we're calling and that we're writing and that we're supporting and that we're marching for different rights of the homeless that they may not be able to do for themselves. Also providing startup money to churches or districts that could give the money to really start the 501c3 process, but then also providing sustainability grants once they are up and running. And last but not least is creating alternative worshiping communities that seek out the homeless population. They seek to specifically minister to the homeless population. I know there's an awesome model in Greensboro that really looks at, I think it's Church Under the Bridge, and they really look at catering to that specific community. And so there are all types of ways that we could say, I'm no longer going to sit by, but I'm going to work and I'm going to respond. And I am going to make sure that no matter if you have shelter or not, that we can work towards becoming a beloved community. So I hope that these very quick, short tidbits helped. And I'm so sorry I could not be there, but class has me at another conference this week. And so I hope that what I presented is able to help us with the discussion of just where the church should be in offering a righteous response to our brothers and sisters. Thank you and be blessed.